Why is it that anxious people and avoidant people always seem to find each other? One person is desperate for closeness, while the other pulls away the moment things get too deep. It's frustrating, confusing, and often heartbreaking. But what if I told you there's a reason these two opposites are so drawn to each other? And more importantly, what if I showed you how to break the cycle once and for all? In this video on Love Decoded, we're diving deep into the anxious-avoidant dynamic, why it happens, how it plays out, and how you can transform your relationships by finally understanding it. To clearly explain the avoidant and anxious attachment relationship pattern, I will have to break this famous pattern into several parts. Part 1. Attachment styles in a nutshell. Before we break down the anxious-avoidant trap, let's quickly revisit what attachment styles are. Attachment theory comes from childhood psychology. It explains how the bonds we had with our caregivers shape the way we connect in adult relationships. There are 4 main attachment styles: secure, comfortable with closeness; balanced, trusting; anxious, preoccupied, craves intimacy, fears abandonment, needs reassurance; avoidant, dismissive, values independence, fears losing self, withdraws under pressure; disorganized, fearful avoidant; a mix of both, wants love but fears it deeply. Now, the secure style is the goal. It's balanced and healthy. But anxious and avoidant styles often end up dancing together in a toxic push-pull cycle. Part 2. The anxious style. Anxious attachers are usually deeply loving, loyal, and empathetic, but their biggest fear is rejection or abandonment. Signs of an anxious attacher: constantly worried about losing their partner, overthinking texts, tone of voice, and actions, needs frequent reassurance of love and commitment, tends to overgive, even when not reciprocated. Their internal belief is, I'm not enough and people leave me. So when their partner withdraws, their anxiety skyrockets. They chase harder, text more, demand clarity. Part 3. The avoidant style. Avoidants, on the other hand, value independence above everything. They're not heartless. They deeply crave love, but they fear that intimacy will consume them or make them vulnerable. Signs of an avoidant: feels smothered when someone gets too close, pulls away or shuts down emotionally, needs lots of space, often without explaining, struggles with vulnerability and opening up. Their internal belief is, closeness equals danger. If I rely on someone, I'll lose myself. So when their partner chases, they withdraw further, confirming the anxious person's fears. Part 4. Why they're attracted to each other. Now here's the million-dollar question. Why do anxious and avoidant people keep finding each other? It's not coincidence. It's chemistry of wounds. The anxious person subconsciously believes, love means I have to prove myself, chase, and work hard not to be abandoned. The avoidant subconsciously believes, love means people will smother me, so I have to keep my distance. When these two meet, the anxious person feels a spark. This person feels like home. If I love them enough, maybe they'll stay. The avoidant feels intrigued but cautious. This person really cares, but if they get too close, I'll lose my freedom. Together they create a cycle. Anxious chases, avoidant withdraws. Anxious panics and chases harder. Avoidant pulls further away. This is what psychologists call the anxious-avoidant trap. Part 5. The cycle in action. Let's walk through a real-world example. Say the anxious partner texts, "Hey, how's your day going?" If the avoidant doesn't respond quickly, the anxious partner spirals. Did I say something wrong? Are they upset? Are they losing interest? That anxiety makes them send another text. Are you mad at me? Or, hello? The avoidant sees this and feels pressured. They withdraw, thinking, this is too much. I need space. The more space they take, the more the anxious partner panics, and round it goes. Both end up feeling exhausted and misunderstood. Part 6. What each side feels. It's important to see both perspectives. Anxious person feels, I just want to be loved. Why do you always push me away? Am I not enough for you? Avoidant person feels, I just want peace. Why do you always need more from me? Can't you see that I love you in my own way? Both believe they're right. Both are hurting, but they're stuck in a cycle where each person's coping mechanism triggers the other's deepest fear. Part 7. Why this relationship feels addictive. Here's why anxious-avoidant relationships are so hard to let go of. Uncertainty, shush, dopamine. The anxious person never knows when the avoidant will pull close or push away. That unpredictability actually strengthens emotional attachment, similar to a slot machine effect. Validation chase. An anxious person feels a temporary high when the avoidant finally gives affection after distance. Familiar pain. Both sides unconsciously repeat patterns from childhood because it feels familiar, even if it's painful. This is why people say, "Why can't I leave this relationship, even though it's hurting me?" It's because your nervous system is addicted to the cycle. Part 8. Breaking the cycle. Here's the good news. This cycle can be broken, but it takes awareness and new strategies from both sides. For the anxious partner, pause before reacting. When they withdraw, don't panic text. Breathe first. Self-soothe. Learn to calm your anxiety through journaling, affirmations, or support networks. Build independence. Create a fulfilling life outside the relationship. Set boundaries. Don't tolerate extreme silence or neglect. For the avoidant partner, communicate space. Instead of ghosting, say, "I need some alone time, but I'll reach out later." Challenge your fear. Notice when you're pulling away out of habit, not actual need. Practice vulnerability. Share feelings even when it's uncomfortable. Reassure your partner. Small gestures of consistency go a long way for anxious partners. Part 9. What if only one person works on it? Here's the hard truth. If only one partner tries to change, the cycle usually continues. If the anxious person learns to self-soothe, but the avoidant never communicates, they'll still feel neglected. If the avoidant tries to be consistent, but the anxious person keeps panicking, they'll still feel smothered. It takes effort on both sides. If only one person is growing, eventually the relationship breaks apart. Part 10. The role of therapy and healing therapy can help both anxious and avoidant partners heal childhood wounds. For anxious attachers, therapy often focuses on building self-worth and independence. For avoidants, therapy helps them feel safe with intimacy and vulnerability. Other healing tools, attachment-based books like Attached by Amir Levine, journaling triggers, writing down your thoughts when anxiety or withdrawal hits, mindfulness practices to calm the nervous system, couples therapy if both are willing to grow. Part 11. Can anxious and avoidant work long-term? Yes, but only if both partners grow. A healthy anxious-avoidant relationship looks like this. The anxious partner learns to soothe themselves and not over-pursue. The avoidant partner learns to lean in instead of shutting down. Both communicate openly about their needs. Boundaries are respected on both sides. But if both stay stuck in old patterns, the relationship often collapses under the weight of miscommunication and unmet needs. Number 12. The karmic lesson. Here's the deeper truth. Anxious and avoidant partners don't just meet by accident. Often, life brings them together as a karmic lesson. The anxious person learns, "I cannot abandon myself for love. My worth is not measured by someone else's attention." The avoidant person learns, "I cannot keep running from intimacy. Love requires courage, not escape." Together, they're forced to confront the very wounds they've been avoiding their whole lives. Part 13. Moving toward secure attachment. The ultimate goal isn't to fix someone else. It's to move yourself toward secure attachment. Secure attachment looks like being comfortable with closeness and independence, communicating needs clearly without fear, trusting your partner without constant reassurance, respecting space without panicking. When you become more secure, two things happen. You either transform the anxious-avoidant dynamic into something healthier, or you outgrow toxic patterns and attract partners who can meet you at your new level. So here's the truth. Anxious and avoidant partners aren't doomed, but they are challenged. The attraction between them is real, but it's not enough to sustain love without growth. If you recognize yourself in this cycle, Take it as an invitation to heal, to set boundaries, to lean into vulnerability, and to build the secure love you deserve. Because at the end of the day, love isn't about chasing or running. It's about meeting in the middle, safe, steady, and free. If this video brought you clarity, subscribe to Love Decoded, where we turn relationship confusion into clarity. And let me know in the comments, are you more anxious or avoidant? And how has that shown up in your relationships? Your story might be the light someone else needs today. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.